So Anglicans, come, 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 come. And the rest of us as Christians, let us come, because something is happening in the Anglican Communion that is very important in this age and time, and we all will learn something powerful from this. Let's go to the board. So Anglicanism at the Crossroad, GAFCON, the Global South, and the Crises of Authority. And this is by me, John Oyeniran, and this is going to be a very wonderful journey. Let's go. So first of all, we look at Anglicanism at the Crossroad, GAFCON, the Global South, and the Crisis of Authority. So the Anglican Communion today stands at a significant moment in history because for centuries, Anglicanism functioned as a global fellowship of churches historically connected to the See of Canterbury in England. So it's from Canterbury that the fellowship of churches are connected to as a global fellowship. However, in recent decades, there have been theological disagreements, demographic shift, and new global alliances, and they have raised profound questions about authority, about doctrine, about the future direction of the Anglican Communion. And in this video, I'm going to explore the emergence of what we call GAFCON and the growing influence of the Global South in shaping the future of Anglicanism. Okay, so what are the central questions that have been brewing all this while? And these are the questions. Let's just look at them. So who determines the doctrine within the church? Who exactly determines the doctrine within the Anglican Church? Number two, is doctrine to be shaped by historical authority of scriptures? Meaning that if there's a doctrine or doctrines as they were, how does it get shaped? Is it going to be by historical authority of scriptures, or may the church reinterpret certain teachings in response to modern cultural developments? Two specific ones in this context for this study and for the Anglican Church. Number one is the issue of same-sex marriage, and also the ordination of priests that are of same-sex marriage, and the ordination of female clergy. It should interest to know that the present Archbishop of Canterbury is a woman. And so we'll look at something very important. And so that led to the formation of what we call GAFCON. I heard about GAFCON in 2013, the first time when I had to borrow a course on Anglicanism at the Crowder Graduate Seminary, where I had my PhD work in 2013, thereabouts. And so that was the first time I heard about the word GAFCON. So what is GAFCON? GAFCON is the Global Anglican Future Conference. It was formed in the year 2008 in Jerusalem. I was in Jerusalem some weeks back. In fact, I was so grateful to God that the word did not catch up with me there. And it emerged in response to the growing theological disagreement between the Anglican Church and the Anglican Communion. I've told you about some of these questions. And so GAFCON was called or was formed to respond to those theological disagreements. And then it also was formed to emphasize biblical authority and historic Anglican doctrine. And it brings together the provinces, primarily from what they call the Global South, representing millions of Anglicans in Africa, Asia, and part of the West. And this is very important for you to understand that there is a change in demographics. The Anglicans are now more in Africa, with Nigeria alone having about 11 million Anglicans, and in Asia and part of the West, just part of the West. And so the demographic of the Anglican Church is shifting to what they call the Global South, okay? And so just some weeks ago, in Abuja, there was a gathering that was called, and it was called the G26. It held in March 2026 in Abuja, here in Nigeria. Bishops from over 25 Anglican provinces attended, and they focused on strengthening the Global South Anglican leadership. And what was the context? The context occurred amidst tension over the leadership of the Anglican Communion and debates about Canterbury and the Orthodox Anglican doctrine. Do we now say that the change in the world or the realities of the world should affect the way we interpret Scripture. So those are the things that we are spoken about in the G26 conference that held in Abuja, Nigeria. And I think I heard about the election of some people. I don't have those details right now, but but I think I saw that so everyone elected to lead the G26. Okay, so why was this meeting important? The meeting in Abuja. Leaders discussed the future structure of the Anglican Communion, and they created a new governing body called the Global Anglican Council that replaces the earlier Primate Council. And the gathering reflects a growing movement among the Global South churches to reshape Anglican leadership structures rather than rely solely on Canterbury. And the reason I told you are two. The Archbishop of Canterbury now is a female, and most of the guys in the GAFCON don't even ordain female priests. And then the issue of same-sex marriage priests that have now been ordained from Canterbury is why they feel that the leadership structure of the Anglican Communion should not rely solely on Canterbury. So what's the future of Anglicanism? And this is very important, we need to say. Will the Global South become the primary center of Anglican authority? And I think that it is. That is what it will be. I heard Bishop Bashajud say the other day in one of his videos that what they now have in the Anglican Communion is reverse missionary. You know, the missionaries were sent here to evangelize, but now you could see from GAFCON that now there's going to be a reverse missionary. In fact, I think and I know that there are some provinces and dioceses of the Anglican Church from the Global South now having missionary dioceses in Europe and in America. So now, what will it be? Will the Global South become a primary center of Anglican authority? Will there be continued growth of churches in Africa and Asia? Of course, I foresee that there will be a continued growth of the churches in Africa and in Asia. And then that GAFCON and the Global South Anglican will continue to lead in biblical orthodoxy, meaning that they will want to remain on what has been the principles of the Bible and not change this standard based on modern realities, if I'm right, you know. And then what will be the role of Canterbury and the Church of England in the future? So if GAFCON is saying we're going to be on our own and we're going to be having the ability to lead in biblical orthodoxy, what exactly now will Canterbury and the Church of England will be doing? That is the big question that we have to answer. And these are the questions moving forward. Will GAFCON reshape Global Anglican Communion? That's a big question. And then what should be the role of the Archbishop of Canterbury in the future? If GAFCON is now becoming this powerful, what will be the role of the Archbishop in Canterbury? And how will divisions like these be reconciled or managed? And what will Anglicanism look like in a decade from now? I want to stick out my neck and say that Anglicanism will definitely, in fact, has definitely moved to the Global South, and the church in Africa, with a special mention for the church in Nigeria, will be a very, very big player as Anglicanism and the church in Nigeria and in Africa will be. And this is for us that are not Anglicans, that we need to understand that we are now the one that will do what Bishop Akshaju called reverse missionary work. We will be the one to go back to the West to preach and to evangelize Jesus to them again. And that, I think, is the new reality for all of us today. So the Anglican Communion is experiencing one of the most significant transitions in its history. The emergence of GAFCON leadership reflects a new global alignment, and the center of Anglican vitality has been and will increasingly be located in Africa and in the Global South. And the future of Anglicanism may be shaped by an open question. And that is the open question I want to put out today. What do you think about the future of the Anglican Church and the church in Africa? Please let's hear your comment. And please, when you do your comment, let's be very, very respectful and let's keep the conversation going. My name is John Oyeniran. Thank you.